My family abandoned me during my son's surgery. 4 days later, Mom demanded money for a dress. I sent 50 cents with buy a veil. I saw the mom SMS on my phone at my son's hospital bed. Need $3,500 for Sam's wedding dress. No. Alex. Post-op? No explanation why no one attended my 8-year-old's appendix removal. Request money. I was checked by the nurse after laughing hard. With the remark buy a veil, I transferred 50 cents and asked my bank to freeze all accounts. The bank manager suddenly called the next morning. At 34, Michael never envisioned raising his 8-year-old son Alex alone. We were two against the world. Or so I thought. Though remote, I assumed my family supported us. That illusion ended on Alex's emergency surgery day. Since childhood, I supported my family financially. I wrote the $10,000 check after insurance denied Mom's storm-damaged roof claim. For my sister Sam's vehicle payments when she lost her job, I paid $7,500 to avoid repossession. After my older brother Finn's terrible divorce, I transferred $4,500 to his account. Constant pattern. Needy calls, promises to pay me back, gratitude, and convenient amnesia when finances improved. Even with this background, I maintained in touch. Alex deserved to meet his family, grandmother, aunt, and uncle. I worked hard at a software company and obtained a promotion that let me work remotely most days, making school pickups and raising an active 8-year-old boy easier. The fateful Tuesday started normally. I was coding when the school nurse called. Alex had severe stomach pain and needed medical help. He was white and in pain on the nurse's office cot when I arrived 15 minutes later. "It really hurts, Dad," he whispered as I carried him to the car, shivering. After examining him, the pediatrician ordered us to the emergency room, citing serious appendicitis. After tests and scans, the ER doctor confirmed her worries. Alex's enlarged appendix must be removed quickly to avoid rupture. His specialist recommended surgery within an hour. He was nice but urgent. "The procedure is risky, but treatment is usual. He must be monitored overnight." I panicked and called my family as Alex was readied for surgery. Each quickly voiced concern and offered assistance. Mom said, "I'm leaving work now," shivering. My unlucky grandchild. "I'll arrive 30 minutes. Sam demanded hospital info via text. "Meet you there. Need anything I bring?" "Little brother, hold," Finn promised. "I can arrive in an hour. Avoid doing this alone." Their promises calmed my heart as I signed consent forms and tried to be brave for Alex, who looked afraid in his too big hospital gown. As they carried him away, I promised his grandma, aunt, and uncle would be with me when he woke up. "I love you, buddy. You're going to be just fine," I called after him, smiling. I waited for company in the waiting room. I contacted them after 1 to 2 hours but got voicemail. I sent urgent texts that went unanswered. By hour 3, I sat alone with a tight stomach from worrying about Alex and realizing no one was coming. The surgeon emerged in scrubs, weary but happy. He claimed surgery went smoothly. We removed the appendix before rupture. Alex should get a room within an hour of recovery. He's then visible. My knees buckled as I sank into the waiting room chair in relief. The worst passed, and tears fell. I never felt so alone. Sitting in the antiseptic hospital waiting room while my son had surgery without relatives. I used social media to kill time while recovering. Then I saw. Mom, sister, and brother posted from the same spot throughout Alex's surgery. Champagne glasses were raised in celebration at a downtown restaurant. My mother posted, "Surprise engagement party for our Sam and Dylan. Family first. Always and forever." My sister's left hand sported a ring. The photos showed them laughing, eating lavishly, and partying as my 8-year-old son was under general anesthesia, and I waited alone, frightened he wouldn't wake up. They didn't text me to say they weren't coming or why. The realization hit me hard. Nobody considered me family. So I was bank. Alex was released the next morning with strict home care instructions. He looked even smaller as I moved him from the wheelchair to the car. Anesthesia and medications pale his face. No anxious relatives called me 24/7. Weekly, Alex said, "Where's Grandma?" I put him to bed. "You said she was coming." Salt on a wound, innocent questions burnt. "Grandma had a crucial issue, buddy. I lied to escape honesty. A visit from her is imminent. While I make broth, how about cartoons?" I held virtual business meetings from Alex's bedside for 3 days. Only. Leaving to cook his tasteless post-surgery food or help him use the restroom. My company understood, but deadlines loomed. After his bedtime, I worked through the night, taking 2 hours between prescriptions. Those long hours brought back memories of my years of family financial support. I used my house down payment for my mother's $10,000 roof. After another year of saving, I bought our modest 3-bedroom home. Before Alex suffered strep throat 3 times in one winter, the $7,500 for Sam's auto loan had depleted my emergency savings, forcing me to use credit cards for medical expenses. Following Finn received $4,500 following his divorce. Alex and I ate ramen 3 nights a week for months. No one has paid despite promises. My mom always spent her teacher's salary on home upgrades. When I mentioned the loan, Sam was on tropical vacation and crying poverty. Finn claimed the money was a gift whenever I mentioned it, calling me selfish for keeping score with family. Family silence for 3 days after surgery was deafening. No one called about Alex's recovery. No grocery or caregiving. No word of our ordeal until my mother texted me on day 4. Need $3,500 for Sam's wedding dress. Designer samples for sale. An unforgettable experience. Need now. Send to my account. No greeting. No uncertainty about her grandson's health after emergency surgery. Request money. Like an electric bill, reading the message again made my hands shake with anger. Sam called before I responded. I reluctantly answered, believing she was calling about Alex. Mom told you about the dress? She gushed unprompted. Vera Wang Michael. Deposit today and get 75% off Vera Wang. I've always desired this. Dylan's parents cater and host. Mom and I thought you could cover the dress since your promotion is going well. Dylan and I are house looking, therefore we must budget. Sister didn't breathe or ask about nephew. It was like Alex's surgery never happened. Like they hadn't left us for her surprise engagement party during a medical emergency. Sam was interrupted. 4 days ago Alex's appendix was removed. Emergency surgery. None of you called or visited. Line halted. She said, "Oh." Angry rather than sorry. Mom discussed his ailment. Is he okay now? Kids heal rapidly. And the dress? Can you transfer money today? Sales expire at 5. Shaken, I hung up without responding. Within minutes Finn texted. Hi man. Can you send me $2,000 for Sam's wedding? Mom wants everyone to help, but I'm done. Both of us. Knowing what that meant. Finn requested me to wire him $2,000 to Pocket and claim as a split donation to Mom and Sam. It was shockingly blatant. I examined my bank accounts that night after Alex ate and took his medication. I was unhappy about more than money following the day's interactions. I checked last year's transactions on my online banking portal. My discovery unsettled me. Many $15 to $90 transfers from my checking account were made without explanation using the bank's website. These seemed like membership renewals or neglected automated payments, but the access logs showed login attempts from unknown devices and countries. Someone accessed my accounts. Only my mother, sister, and brother know my banking info. Every authorized user was added years ago for emergencies. They didn't abandon my son in critical need and want thousands for a wedding dress. They constantly stole from me. Take insignificant amounts that add up to thousands. The treachery wounded more than expected. After Alex slept, I sat in my dim home office. My mind reeled after discovering unlawful access to my accounts, callous disregard for my son's health, and entitlement in their money demands. Financial exploitation became a chronic habit I couldn't excuse. My laptop screen lit up with their betrayal while studying financial protection. Under bank policy, I could quickly remove authorized users, change access credentials, and freeze transactions pending investigation. I can prohibit access at any time as primary account holder. My workplace baby monitor showed Alex's chest rising and falling as he slept. I'd made many concessions for my family's actions over the years, believing he needed those bonds. What did accepting this treatment teach him? Abuse in the family? Love needed boundless financial sacrifice? Buddy, I've been wrong, I muttered to his dozing monitor. They're not our only family, and real family doesn't hurt. Checking social media harmed my research. My mother's profile showed her newly renovated kitchen with high-end appliances despite financial issues. Sam Instagrammed designer products and luxury resort getaways with her fiancé Dylan. Finn acquired front-row tickets to 3 professional basketball games the month before, despite not contributing to his sister's wedding. I took the biggest hit when I casually questioned a wedding vendor friend about costs and payment. Many local vendors were excited about the Palmer wedding, she said. Palmer was Sam's fiancé. A friend stated they're booking everything well. The planner says the bride's brother covers numerous costs. As part of the band, photographer, and honeymoon package, Michael must be loaded. Easily $27,000. Chilled blood. I wasn't asked. They provided vendors my name and promised payment. To give me the bills when it was too late to go without a fight. Complex and risky plan. I shook hands and phoned my bank's after-hours security. My concerns concerning identity theft and unauthorized access were carefully considered. After authenticating my identity, she confirmed multiple unidentifiable device login attempts. Change all access credentials now and file an official report at a branch tomorrow. I can pause external transfers from your accounts. I reviewed my mother's text after the call. $3,500 wedding dress. The absurdity hit me after everything, and I chuckled. Frenzied humor unleashed powerful emotions that couldn't be processed otherwise. I spontaneously transferred money to my mother's account using my banking app. $50, not $3,500. I typed, "buy a veil," in the memo line and closed my financial accounts. I reset passwords, deactivated users, set up two-factor authentication with a new phone number, and froze external investment accounts. I stored suspicious transfer statements and screenshotted unwanted login attempts. I wrote my 3 relatives a goodbye. I know about unauthorized account and transfer access. I also know of unapproved wedding vendor commitments. My money accounts are locked forever tonight. This account access request will be reported as fraud. Please stop requesting money. I blocked their numbers after mailing it, not interested in explanations or manipulations. I fell asleep after 2 sleeping tablets, emotionally fatigued but content with my choice. My phone rang at 7:30 a.m. the next day. I expected my relatives to yell at me from many numbers, but the caller ID showed my bank's main address. I reluctantly replied, "Mr. Lawrence, this is Laura Patterson, First National's Main Street branch manager. We need to discuss some concerning account activity. How soon can you visit?" I didn't realize my family's financial crisis response went beyond angry phone calls. The bank manager's urgent meeting request started a tempest that would test every barrier I'd set. After helping Alex with breakfast, the doorbell rang and aggressive hammering rattled the front door frame. I saw my mother, sister, and brother huddled on my porch, enraged, through the peephole. I wasn't anticipating their quick visit. I asked, "Alex, buddy, can you go to your room and put on that movie we started yesterday?" I tried to stay calm. He asked, "Is that Grandma?" His hopeful grin broke my heart. "Can I say hi first?" "Not now," I said. "She's not in a good mood. And you need to rest for your checkup this afternoon. Go on now." I walked onto the porch and locked the front door after hearing his bedroom door close, not wanting them in, or Alex hearing a fight. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" my mother raged. 50 cents. You think that's funny? And then you block our numbers and freeze all the accounts. Have you lost your mind? Sam pushed forward, tears streaming down her perfectly made-up face. "You're destroying my special day because you're jealous. You've always been jealous of any attention I get. Just because you're divorced and miserable doesn't mean you get to ruin my happiness." Finn stood behind them, arms crossed, threatening them. "You must fix this immediately," he raged. "Transfer the money for the dress and restore our access to the accounts or things are going to get ugly." The fury on their faces attracted my attention. These folks who shared my blood yet had frequently broken my rules. People who didn't attend my 8-year-old son's operation may show up at my door within hours of losing my money. "Just, no," I said. "Not giving you money. I won't let you access my accounts or argue on my front lawn." My mother shouted, "You ungrateful little. I raised you alone when your father left, despite everything I've done for you. This is how you repay me for working 3 jobs to eat." "Mom needed the money today," Sam said. "We must get it immediately or the dress will be gone. Dylan's parents want a particular level of presentation, and you're making us look like we can't afford a wedding." "Maybe you can't," I answered. "Or maybe you should pay for it yourselves instead of stealing from me," Finn charged. "What did you say?" "I know about the unauthorized access to my accounts," I said. Despite Finn's physical intimidation, I know about the months-old tiny transfers. You told me about the wedding vendors I'm paying for without asking. Stopping now. Through his bedroom window, I saw Alex's tiny face of confusion and horror. Seeing him see this terrible scene transformed me. Voice hardened. "You missed Alex's emergency surgery. You never visited or phoned him afterward. He might have perished. You were too excited about Sam's engagement to care. You dare knock on my door for money. Leave. Now." "We didn't come because we knew he'd be fine," my mother raged. "Appendixes are frequently removed in children. It's not life-threatening. This family is being torn apart for nothing," Sam wailed. "All because you couldn't be the center of attention for once." Finn approached me, fists balled. "You always assume your fancy profession and lovely life make you superior than us. Remember where you come from and who supported you before this. Before I could react, a voice from across the street called as the conflict escalated. Everything okay over there, Michael? My neighbor Laura approached her phone carefully. Should I call? We're family, my mother snapped. This doesn't matter. Retired school principal Laura was unafraid. I'll ask again because 3 adults are yelling at one man on his property and a toddler is observing from the window. Does Michael need me to call someone? Yes, I said. Call the police. My family was leaving but they resisted. Calling the police on your mom? Confounded, Sam yelled. Laura calmly answered. Police are already on the way, holding her phone. They suggested I start recording while we wait. Just for everyone's protection, of course. The idea of cops and recording transformed my family's attitude immediately. My mother's righteous fury became public performance. We just wanted to check on Alex after his surgery, she said. But Michael has been acting strangely lately. Cared about him and the boy. That's not why you came. And you know it. You haven't asked Alex's health since you arrived. I stripped you of my money. So you arrived. The curb was approached with caution by 2 police cruisers. After identifying everyone, one detective took me away while his partner talked to my family. What happened? Your neighbor called about a potential domestic disturbance, the officer replied. Summary. Missed surgery, incorrect account access, and unexpected confrontation on my doorstep. I want them out, I said. My son needs to recover from surgery without stress. Neither do I. The officers chatted momentarily before approaching my family. Mr. Lawrence wants you off his property. Please promptly. Tom grumbled. But the money he promised. $3,500 for my wedding dress. He can't retreat. Officer focused on her. Civil, not criminal, ma'am. Lawsuits are possible for valid financial claims. You must depart quickly. They fled following more protests and dramatic charges. Michael, this isn't over, my mother replied as she walked to her car. Family members don't act this way. Alex was worried on the living room couch when I went inside after thanking Laura and the officers. He calmly asked Dad why everyone was yelling. Is Grandma mad at us? Sitting next to him, I chose my words carefully. Buddy, adults argue occasionally. Our loved ones don't always regard each other like family. They didn't come to the hospital, he said, smarter than me. People are money crazy now. Heard that? I groaned, realizing I had to be more honest than usual. Not arriving when you were sick hurt us both. I won't pay for Aunt Sam's wedding, so they're furious. Childlike Alex thought. That's not very nice of them. Yes. No, I said. Even mistreating relatives must be separated. Time out? He inquired. Still, I grinned. A long break for family. After helping Alex eat and use his iPad, I checked my email for a company HR message. Subject line chilled me. Concerning reports regarding your conduct. The email stated that family members concerned for your well-being had called the company saying I was suffering a mental health crisis and perhaps embezzling monies. They demanded an emergency contact for your child and a review of my access to company financial systems. It was unexpected and intentional that my family was trying to harm my work and possibly Alex's custody in addition to getting my money back. While handling this new attack, I got another bank call. After almost missing the manager's urgent meeting, I got a dreadful feeling that my family's financial invasions were deeper than I anticipated. Whatever they uncovered must be considerable. Laura Patterson, an early 40s bank manager, was polite and no nonsense. She immediately brought me into her private office and locked the door. She remarked, "Thank you for coming so quickly, Mr. Lawrence," inviting me to sit across from her desk. To avoid further difficulty, I had Alex stay with his best friend's family for a few hours. I heard an important call. What's with my accounts? After touching some computer buttons, Laura rotated the monitor so I could see. You called our after-hours security line yesterday evening to report unauthorized account access and terminate all authorized users, right? Yes, after discovering what I believe were unauthorized transfers. Well, she added, we recorded simultaneous attempts to access your accounts from 3 city branches this morning. They identified as your mother, sister, and brother. They always allege crises requiring immediate funds from your accounts. I felt uneasy after deleting them as authorized users. So this is very bad. They claimed financial power of attorney. The documents appeared legitimate enough that 2 of our newer tellers nearly processed the requests before their managers intervened and flagged the accounts. A folder crossed her desk. We've compiled the security footage from all 3 locations and documented the attempts. I watched surveillance footage of my mother, Finn, and Sam with documents at teller windows in the packet. He muttered, "This goes beyond family members overstepping lines, Mr. Lawrence. This appears to be an organized swindle, possibly identity theft. Your signature appears on power of attorney paperwork. You probably never signed such papers." I said, "Absolutely not," hollow with terror. "No one possessed my power of attorney." "That's what we suspected," Laura remarked, taking another document from her desk drawer. "Our security team noticed unusual activity on your accounts for 14 months. Most minor transfers total $10,000. Our security systems denied 6 $3,500 wire transfers in 24 hours. The theft attempt was spectacular." "What happens now, that's partly up to you," Laura added. "The bank reported forged power of attorney paperwork to authorities. That criminal matter must be disclosed. You can choose from past and present fraud. You can press charges for fraud and identity theft, or you can handle it as a private family matter." I looked at the surveillance photos again, unable to reconcile these intentional actions with the people who had raised me, attended my school events, and claimed to love me. "I need info beforehand. Looking for $3,500 today." "They justified tellers with what?" Laura checked her notes. "Mother said for son's medical bills. It was for emergency roof repairs after storm damage," your sister said. "Your brother said it was for your son's late school fees." With Alex as an explanation, bank workers may be more sensitive to child-related requests. Laura remarked, "There's one more thing." Like she'd saved the finest for last. "Our inquiry revealed something important. We subpoenaed phone records for our fraud investigation and found texts between your sister and brother discussing the $3,500 genuine purpose." She put Sam and Finn's text transcript on the desk. "Did Michael send the dress money yet?" Finney. "Trying. Mom pushes hard." Sam's. "Dylan's parents bought the dress last week. Need $3,500 for gaming debts before they find you again." Finney. "Speak quietly in texts. Just follow the story. Michael always funds family emergencies." Sam's. "What if he asks the bridal shop?" Finney. "He never checks. Preoccupied with the child. Just get outraged about the dress and he'll cave again." For Finn's gambling debts, the wedding dress was paid. Laura nodded intently. "We noticed that your sister's future in-laws are wealthy and paid for most wedding expenses. You brother received $3,500 to pay unlicensed lenders, according to texts. Finn sought aid from me years previously after losing money playing online poker. I helped him assuming it was a one-time mistake. The situation has grown to include risky lenders who wouldn't tolerate excuses. I imagined Alex resting at home after surgery, unaware that his uncle's gambling obligations came first. I remembered years of justifying my family's actions, giving them the benefit of the doubt, and constantly opening my wallet to help them. Finally saying, "I want to press charges." I was calmer than expected. "All of them for everything." Laura nodded, expecting, "The evidence made you think so. I've prepared the relevant documents." She gave me another folder. "The bank will pursue action regarding the fraudulent documents regardless, but these forms will initiate proceedings for the unauthorized access and transfers as well." I felt surprisingly calm signing the documents. For years I believed family relationships should be protected at all costs. I'd been used financially and emotionally out of a false feeling of obligation. But watching the concerted effort to steal from me using my son as a pretext showed me something I should have noticed sooner. They weren't relatives. These predators used me. "There's one more thing," Laura said as I signed. "Our security team recommends a total financial lockdown due to the sophistication of this attempt and the involvement of potentially hazardous third parties due to your brother's gaming. New accounts, access protocols, extensive credit monitoring, and possible relocation if your address is compromised. Moving would disrupt Alex's school, friendships, and the stable life I'd worked so hard to build for him. But if Finn truly was involved with dangerous lenders who might come looking for payment, our safety could be at risk. I need some time to ponder about moving," stated I. "Everything else must be done promptly. Anything to safeguard our finances and identity." My phone vibrated with an email as I left the bank with a folder of protective measures and criminal accusations. HR again wanted an urgent meeting to examine my family's issues. People who should have supported me destroyed my meticulously crafted life. I picked up Alex from his friend's house. He talked about the games and cookies they prepared on the way home, blissfully unconscious of the storm. He looked excited about simple pleasures in the rearview mirror, which bolstered my determination. Money wasn't everything anymore. The bank manager's call revealed my family's dishonesty and provided me something unexpected. People who would immediately use my son as a pawn. People who would take money by feigning his illness. Clarity. For the first time in years, I observed the problem without family burden or misplaced guilt. That insight gave me the commitment to end exploitation at any costs. The morning after my Laura appointment, I called Bank Fraud Department recommended attorney Marcus Delgado. Given the urgency, his staff scheduled an emergency session for me that afternoon. Alex's regular plea, "Can I have chocolate milk for breakfast, Michael?" made me choke as I prepared his prescription. "I agree, pal. What about pancakes?" The doctor said, "You can start eating normal food again." A stranger texted me while Alex happily ate breakfast. "Dylan, meet me at Riverside Coffee at noon to discuss your treatment of Sam, or I'll complicate matters." My sister's purported lawyer fiancé joined the pressure campaign. I didn't respond, but I gave Marcus the house encounter message and screenshots. Evidence was becoming my most valuable asset. After dropping Alex off at his friend's house again and thanking the parents for their unexpected assistance, I met Marcus at his downtown office. Sharp-featured in his 50s, the attorney always wore reading glasses. "You've got yourself quite a predicament," he observed after reviewing my documents. "The bank's action on the bogus power of attorney was correct. We must now defend you and your son from further attacks. Would you advise?" After days of monitoring, I inquired, exhausted. "First, restraining orders against all 3 family members based on the police report of the house disturbance and the bank's fraud documentation. Second, I'll check your financial and legal records for vulnerabilities. Third, expect vengeance." What kind of revenge? I was surprised by the fear. Marcus looked serious as he removed his glasses. "Family disputes about this much money dishonesty often escalate to other dangerous areas. Your employer was notified. They may disrupt your son's school or medical care. Child Protective Services may receive false reports. Your life must be protected." The safety measures overwhelmed me. This was a full-scale war against folks who knew my entire life and vulnerabilities. "I need to talk to Alex's mother," I add. "Even though we're divorced, they might try to use her against me somehow." Marcus nodded. "Good idea. These situations necessitate parental unity." After chatting with Marcus, I drove to a quiet park and called my ex-wife Rachel. Our divorce 3 years previously was amicable, driven by growing apart rather than any specific grievance. We maintained a functional co-parenting relationship focusing on Alex's well-being. "Michael, is Alex okay?" She answered my midday call immediately, worried. "Alex is recovering well from his appendectomy," I said. "But there's a situation with my family you need to know about." I described the week, from their surgery absence to the unauthorized account access and possible charges. Rachel listened silently to the story. I finished and she stopped before saying, "They've already contacted me, Michael." I fell. "What? When?" "Yesterday. Your mother called to say you were suffering a mental breakdown and wanted me to take Alex full-time. Sam wrote asking if I could lend her $3,500 for wedding expenses you had promised but were withholding out of malice. I told them both I needed to speak with you first. They tried to sway my ex-wife before I warned her and tried to take money from her when I refused. There's more." Rachel stiffened. "Finn arrived at my workplace this morning. He said, if I helped convince you to honor your financial commitments to the family, they would support me getting primary custody of Alex for his own protection. When I refused, he implied I might start having problems with my apartment lease since the building manager is his friend from college." Rachel crossed a limit I didn't expect. "I'm so sorry they've dragged you into this." She responded, "Don't apologize for them. I never liked how they treated you, even while we were married. I didn't know how horrible it was. You need what from me?" Her quick help offered me my first relief in days. "My counsel advises unity. They'll try to divide us to control. Michael, you have my full support. All my conversations with them are recorded. Your mother left intriguing but unflattering voicemails. To verify work deadlines, I'll send everything to you and your attorney when I reach home." A certified letter from a law firm representing the Palmer and Lawrence families stated I had made binding financial commitments to wedding expenses totaling over $27,000 and demanded immediate payment or legal action. Marcus called minutes after getting the letter. "This is actually excellent news, surprising me. The charges are false, but we have documented evidence of their extortion effort. I advise a final meeting with everyone and me. Our fraud proof will be shown. Give them one chance to back down before we pursue the criminal allegations." The encounter made me nervous, but I knew it was important. Neutral ground with witnesses was best. Everything will be filmed with their knowledge in my office conference room tomorrow morning. While assisting Alex with his science homework that evening, I answered the phone, suspicious of more family tactics, but something pushed me to respond. "Is Michael Lawrence?" an unknown man asked. I reacted quickly, on guard. "George Lawrence might be your grandfather." I was flabbergasted. Mom always stated my grandfather George abandoned them, showing the same carelessness as my father, who left when I was 2. I heard an elderly voice say, "I don't mean to disturb you," into quiet. I've returned to the city and learned of terrible events affecting my daughter Diane and my grandchildren. Laura, your neighbor, found me volunteering at a community center. "We should talk," she said. Laura, my unexpected ally in the fight, found my grandfather. The coincidence seemed too good to be true. "I appreciate the call, but this isn't a good time," responded I. "I'm dealing with some complicated family issues." He answered, "I understand," quietly but firmly. "That's why we should meet. Nobody knows everything about your mother and family," possibly explaining the situation. "If not, sorry. Attend my speech tomorrow at 9 o'clock at Carson's Diner. No pressure." He disconnected while I was perplexed and stared at my phone, worsening my situation. He seemed calm and honest, which fascinated me. Mom never talked about family history. I pulled into Carson's Diner's parking lot at 8:55 the next morning after scheduling Alex's day with Rachel. I didn't know if this encounter would be enlightening or manipulation, but Marcus's confrontation later that day could be helpful. A lonely man in his early 80s in a corner booth had the identical jawline I saw in the mirror every morning. When he saw me, he stood, beaming. He said, "Michael," and offered his hand. "Thank you for coming." I sat across from an old man I'd never seen but whose blood I carried. I had no idea that his arrival would give me the final knowledge I needed to escape my poisonous family dynamics. "I'll get right to the point," George said after ordering coffee. "Your mother's behavior is childhood-based. She did to me what she does to you for decades until I left." My grandfather detailed how my mother had lied to relatives for financial gain since her teens for an hour. How she alienated me from him and other relatives who could have illuminated her acts. How she taught Sam and Finn the same emotional manipulation and financial extortion. As I pondered the admissions, he stated, "I'm not telling you this to hurt you, but to free you from the guilt I know you must be feeling. Your siblings and Diane are doing something premeditated that will never end. I stayed in a relationship too long, expecting she would change. She never did. And I lost years with you." George talked, and my childhood and adult experiences came flooding back. The continual financial difficulties that appeared to correspond with my triumphs, and how family members fluctuated between generous praise and brutal criticism depending on what they wanted from me. My unquestioned estrangement from extended family. I finally asked, "Why reveal now?" After years, George's weathered face showed regret and resolve. "I've sought you for years. Diane aborted everything. When your neighbor Laura mentioned your name in the community center and explained what was happening, I realized I had to try again. You deserve the truth, and your boy deserves protection from centuries-old wrongdoing." I discovered a granddad and understood Marcus's confrontation after leaving the diner. Apologies and promises to change couldn't repair this family conflict. It showed a persistent habit of exploitation that would never end unless I stopped it. After 2 hours, my mother, sister, brother, and a nervous-looking Dylan, Sam's fiancé, joined me at Marcus's conference room. The recording equipment was visible and operable because Marcus had insisted on transparency for this meeting. My family members took their seats with confidence, feeling this was their victory and a chance for me to back down and resume my role as their financial safety net. Marcus brought bank security footage and text message transcripts to prove their crime, turning them from cocky to scared. Marcus concluded, adding to criminal complaints. "We uncovered harassment, attempted extortion, fabricated charges against Mr. Lawrence, and employment interference. The ex-wife of Mr. Lawrence documented your attempts to manipulate custody and threaten her housing. We are prepared to pursue every available legal remedy unless certain conditions are met immediately." "This is ridiculous," my mother raged. "My life has been for this ungrateful guy and his siblings." "Do you miss your grandson's emergency engagement party surgery?" I asked quietly, including creating fraudulent power of attorney documents to steal from my accounts, including using my son's health as a fiction to try to extract money from the bank. "That was Finn's idea," Sam yelled, blaming our brother. "I never wanted to do it. He said we needed the money for his gambling bills, and Mom insisted we'd never notice it if we took it slowly." Finn attacked Sam across the table. "Shut up. You cooperated since you thought you were getting a free wedding despite allegations and counter-accusations." Conference room door opened. George Lawrence stopped the chaos as my mother's face vanished. "Hello, Diane," he whispered. "It's been a while." "You? Who's here?" she asked. Fearful for the first time. "Supporting my grandson," he replied, sitting next to me. "Something I should have done years ago." When George came, his direct knowledge of decades of dishonesty transformed the discussion. He dismantled every justification my mother and siblings gave. Dylan and I discovered his intended family after 3 hours. Dylan sat stunned as he realized his error. Marcus demanded full return of stolen cash, signed admissions of fraud, and legally enforceable promises to stay away from me and Alex to prevent criminal and civil action. My family bonds crumbled before my eyes. Instead of mourning, I felt free, like my lifelong chains were dropped. "I'll need your decisions by this time tomorrow," stated. After that, we proceed with all pending actions without further negotiation. Only George sat by me as they departed, dejected and separated, a physical representation of the family relationship I had been denied for decades and may now have. "You did well," he said, patting my shoulder. "Better than I managed when I was in your position. Your son is lucky to have a father with your courage. An unexpected but more true friendship formed in the wreckage of exploitation and manipulation than with my 34-year-old family." It wasn't my ideal conflict resolution. The moment I left the meeting room with my new granddad felt like the beginning of something bigger than what I lost. 6 months after that tense meeting in Marcus's office, Alex and I stood in our garden with our real family around a grill. Laura from across the street set up lawn chairs while her husband grilled burgers. Alex improved his water balloon tossing with Rachel and her new partner. Laura from the bank placed condiments on the picnic table, smiling and increasing my heart rate. George told us about his fishing trip after becoming a regular. My mother, sister and brother signed Marcus's agreements, confessing their guilt and consenting to live apart from me, despite strong proof in the fear of prison time. Finn, who was most at risk due to the fake paperwork, entered a court-mandated gambling addiction program to avoid prison. The financial payback would take years, but Marcus had arranged compliance without our touch. A financial monitor watched all official communications to ensure timely payments. George commented, "Quite a change from last year's 4th of July. Behind me at the grill. You spent that one alone with Alex, I recall you saying." I nodded, flipping burgers. Mom asked me to attend every event she organized, even if she was too busy for our holidays. I didn't realize our relationship was one-sided until it ended. "Recognizing unhealthy patterns is the hardest part," stated. "Breaking them is actually easier once you see them clearly." George had been my grandfather and guru in recent months, helping me understand my troubled family ties from infancy. His words were profound. I realized through regular conversations with him and visits to Marcus's recommended therapist that my desire to be a better father than the one who abandoned me had made me vulnerable to familial exploitation. Alex said, "Watch this, Dad," with renewed confidence. My impulsive child unleashed a perfect water balloon at Rachel's boyfriend's feet, making everyone chuckle. His resilience was outstanding. The early conversations about his grandma, aunt, and uncle's deaths were heartbreaking, but kids comprehend fairness. I explained in age-appropriate language that they took money without asking and weren't there when he needed them, and he understood. "They weren't acting family?" He adds, "Real family comes when you're sick." Out of the mouths of babes. "The burgers are ready," I said, and everyone ate. Laura helped me distribute the dishes, and our third formal date the weekend before made her touch mine feel natural. She calmly said, "You've built something beautiful here," gesturing to the gathering. "A chosen family," nicely describes what transpired once my biological attachments dissolved. In my worst period, everyone in our backyard showed devotion and concern. Sandra spoke up first when she spotted the fight at my house, but others followed. Allison had become a true co-parent, supporting me against my family's manipulation. After our divorce, her support turned our connection into a true friendship focused on Alex's well-being. Laura got involved professionally. After the bank's fraud probe, we talked about personal connections instead of finances. Her honesty and sincerity drew me in like I hadn't in years, and Alex's comfort with her appeared to indicate that we were connecting. George, my unexpected grandfather, who seemed too convenient to trust, was the family elder I never realized I needed. His grasp of our family patterns and genuine desire to get to know Alex and me filled a need I didn't realize. "I've been thinking," George said while we ate, "about a weekly tradition. Sunday dinners at my place. Nothing fancy. A chance to meet regularly." Laura promptly answered, "That sounds wonderful," making me grin. "I make a mean apple pie that would be perfect for dessert." Instead of participating, I watched table discussion. I'm overwhelmed by the difference between this gathering and my high-tension family events. No one was tracking contributions, manipulating for profit, or resenting each other. Just true connection and fun together. "You okay, Dad?" Alex asked, sensing my odd quiet. "I'm better than okay, buddy," said I. Just feeling grateful. My relationship with Alex changed most throughout these months. Without my poisonous family relationships, I had more emotional energy to give him. Our talks were deeper, our activities more stimulating, and our bond stronger than ever. Laura quietly packed away leftovers and collected trash after people left. "I got an interesting call today," she stated casually, washing the picnic table. "From Mom?" Tying the garbage bag closed, I clutched it. "What? How did she acquire your number?" "Through the bank, I assume." Laura asked about fraud protection calmly, but when I answered, she started raving about how you've turned everyone against her and how she wants to see her only grandson. Laura continued. "Mother says always worried me." I informed her that contacting me violated her agreement and that necessary communication should go through proper means. I informed Marcus and the bank's legal staff of the call. She said, "Hope that was acceptable. I didn't want to offend you, but I also felt bad hiding it." Her honesty relieved my chest pressure. It was perfect. "Thank you for telling me. She's testing boundaries," Laura remarked, looking for system flaws. "She'll find others to try." I nodded, cleaned again. "But she won't find any openings here." After Laura went and Alex fell asleep, George and I sat under the stars on the back porch. "I've been meaning to give you something," he said, taking an envelope from his pocket. "When cleaning my storage unit, I found images of your father before he left and you as a newborn. Alex hopes to see them." The mail included images my mother had hidden, featuring my father proudly and terrorically cuddling me as an infant. My mother rarely attended birthday celebrations with unknown relatives. "Your father wasn't the villain Diane painted him to be," George stated as I regarded them. "Flawed, certainly young and unprepared for fatherhood, but not the monster she described to justify her own behavior." "Tell me why now?" Though I suspected I knew, I asked. "Because fixing is more than progress. You must also know your past. You deserved better than her tale. Alex should be more than Granny." I sat on the porch as George left with promises to call tomorrow about Sunday dinner plans, reflecting on the past 6 months. From Alex's surgery's devastating betrayal to my family's systematic financial exploitation, through the confrontations and legal battles, to this moment of genuine peace, it had not been easy. I spent sleepless nights contemplating my actions, grieving for the family relationships I hoped could be preserved, and painful conversations with Alex about why people who professed to love us had behaved so cruelly. The wound wasn't totally healed, but it wasn't bleeding. I had never encountered authentic relationships based on mutual respect and genuine care rather than obligation and exploitation. A chosen family who showed up because of shared ideals rather than DNA, or a support system that strengthened rather than depleted me. This was my smallest financial transaction. 50 cents transferred to my mother's account with the scornful remark, "Buy a veil." But it freed me from manipulation and allowed me to create something healthy for Alex and me. Laura texted as I closed the photo book and entered. "Great day with you and your son. Looking forward to Sunday supper." The little letter made me smile and feel warm without duty or family expectation. Genuine connection felt like this. I wanted Alex to learn that relationships build, not break. Our lives changed a year after Alex's operation was missed. New precautions and surveillance secured my financial accounts, and my employment was stronger than ever. Alex thrived in school and activities with caring individuals after the HR inquiry disproved my family's accusations. I finally understood the most critical lesson. Creating limits was self-respectful and healthy to everyone. I protected myself and my child by quitting poisonous connections and forming meaningful partnerships that enhanced our lives in ways I never imagined. The path from money exploitation to genuine relationship was difficult. I understood it was worth every hard stride from the other side. Have you ever had to leave relatives for your health? Creating limitations with those we're closest to can be difficult.